do it. Oh, that's so strange.
Says we're live.
Yay! Okay, so I'm setting up our. All right, cool. We're on, dude. All right, with the magical snap of the beer can, and my little Andy Warhol thing of wine. We're live with another Storytellers Happy Hour. And I'm Lisa Kastner. I'm the founder of Running Wild, which now has 4 imprints. Running Wild Rise, which the fabulous Teehee is in charge of. Trump Lowell and Junkyard Rooster. And Teehee and I come to you guys on Wednesdays. It's supposed to be like the last Wednesday of the month, and then shit happens. Welcome to life. And then we have to reschedule.
Yeah.
But it's good. I mean, because honestly, dude, we've known each other. We've been buds for like 15 years.
Yeah.
Is that right? Holy crap. Like, for realsies.
I had to look at the year, but yeah.
2011, 2012, something like that. Yeah.
Yep.
We keep our peeps around, you know, like as it should be. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I forgot what I was going to say. So I recently had this like work trip where we do like a 5-day intense training thing. Mm-hmm. So I was there with my whole staff and everything. And people were just talking about like, oh man, like we have all this programming during the day, but then everybody is talking all night and this is getting kind of exhausting because it's 5 days. And I was like, y'all, that is nothing. You should have seen grad school.
Right? Oh my. Okay. So I know we had a plan on what we were going to talk about, but we should totally talk about grad school. Like, why don't we go there? So
yeah.
Okay, so
yes.
He and I, how we know each other is because we both got our graduate degrees in creative writing from Fairfield University. Call out to Fairfield.
Yep.
And Fairfield was a air quotes low residency, which really meant, what was it, like once a quarter? So once every 3 months, was that right?
Once every 6 months, so okay. Twice a year.
Twice a year. We had a super long weekend, which was really like what, 5 days? I'm totally
10 days.
Oh, excuse me, 10 days. Thank God I had a job that paid for my vacation, because holy shit, I can't imagine doing that now.
Yeah.
10 days we would go on this island for real.
And
a private island. Actually, I'm totally tanking this. You need to tell the story. Tell, and then I'll just like throw shit in.
Yes. So once every summer and every winter, we were on this private island off the coast of Mystic, Connecticut, that was also owned by the Catholic Church, which like, also I had very little plan for like what our story prompts are. So I'm really glad we're going to do grad school. So I started in 2011. At that time, the island didn't have Wi-Fi and phone service is really hard. And because it's owned by the Catholic Church, like the housing is kind of like nuns' court. It's very monastic. Yeah. And there's a church on the island. The island is small enough that you could stand on one end and see the other end.
That's true.
Like it's like the size of a city block. And you're trapped there with 50 people for 10 days and very little access to the outside world. It's kind of amazing we survived.
Kind of, because we had some very intense personalities among both the attendees, meaning the students, and the actual instructors.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And we also had people who just like faculty and students, like halfway through the residency, would just quit the program. They were like, I can't do this.
Yeah, like flat out. Like they wouldn't even last the 10 days. They would just, and then like you're like, where'd they go? And no one would own where they went. Like it was just kind of like poof.
crazy on a secluded island with only 50 people, it becomes really obvious when someone's not there because you see everybody all the time.
Because you're just like, this doesn't make sense. I thought so and so. Yeah.
So the island, and it's called Ender's Island, which is a weird.
It's kind of frightening, right? Like Ender's, ENDER''S. So like it's the end of something, right?
Yeah.
It's their island. Yeah.
When I told my coworkers, they like did not believe this. And I was like, no, it's real. It's real. The summers are beautiful because it's warm, and of course the island has like beach and stuff like that. But in the winter, the winters were rough. It's super cold, it's snowy, you can't spend any time outside. There's very little space inside. One of the things, let's break it up like this. So first impressions of Ender's Island when you first came for your very first residency.
Oh, you want to go there?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna back up and start with how I even got to this program. So I had actually applied to multiple MFA programs, and I'll be honest, like one of my dreams was always to, ever since I was a kid, was to go to school at University of Pennsylvania and eventually teach there, right? I just thought that would be like the shit. So they don't have an MFA. So they were actually, believe it or not, they were going to create a program for me. So it would be an MA in creative writing, and like I could ask for specific professors as long as they were professors that were already working there. And I was like, oh my God, yeah, this is amazing. But then part of me too was like, but I want the experience of an actual like other students, right? And like it's not just like me, and and so I think there were like 4 programs that I got accepted to, and I was like, okay, which was wild to me because I applied on a whim because I found out that where I was working at the time, as long as the university was certified, like an accredited program, they would pay for it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like up to a certain amount, and so I thought, oh, well, I don't know what and this has always been my thought process. I don't know what I don't know, right? Like, so I'd rather go somewhere and learn from others and find out like I know a lot more than I thought I did than not actually try. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I went to a bunch of different programs, and most of them they wouldn't, like I would just go and attend like a workshop, and like I'd talk to some of the professors or whatever, right? Michael White, who's the creator of the MFA program, he actually offered for me to go for a long weekend to attend, like to sit in on some of the classes and sit in on some of the workshops and stuff. So I went, and then I went to this one dinner, and I will not name names, but as soon as I say this, you'll be like, I know who that was. I was like, hey, hey, I'm considering coming here to this MFA program. I'd love your thoughts on it. And this one person who had graduated turned to me and said, you will come here, period. And in that moment, I was like, oh my God. Like this person's personality was so dominant that I just thought, okay, well, I guess that answers that question,
I think I know who you're talking about.
Oh yeah. Yep. So it's a combination of, I'll just say her, and the fact that there were a couple of authors who I was a huge fan of, who were professors there. And I thought, this will make it worth my while, right? So that's how I ended up going there. Anyway, so I had already been to the Ender's Island before I actually started, but like when I started, I still for some reason they always had me for a while. They always had me with the same roommate, which I found weird. Like I don't, because I've been to like major conferences and like workshops, and even though like I would be there on a recurring basis, they wouldn't always put me with the same person. Like I always had a different roommate, which was cool, So they always had me the same roommate until I said something like, this is weird, right? Like, did I piss someone off? Like, were they like, oh my God, she curses too much. Fuck that. She can only, this is the only person who could put up with her or something. Like, I don't get it. But anyway, so then once I said something, then they actually started giving me different roommates, but anyway, like I remember driving onto the island, and to your point, like it's wild because as you drive in, you can see the other end of the island. Like you can see the beach, right?
It's small.
Because it's New England, right? So it's a New England beach. It's not a Cali beach. It's not a Puerto Vallarta beach, right? Like where we are. So so it was kind of like, oh, okay. And I remember the first day I was on the island, I literally walked. I was just curious. I walked from one end to the other, and I was like, holy shit. I don't think it even took me an hour.
No, it's
and so then I was like, well, okay. So I went to the now, mind you, so this just shows how juvenile I am. Okay, so I was so excited. Like our rooms were actually decent. Like you had a roommate, right? But like you had air in the summer, and you had heat in the winter, and not all places are going to give you that, right? So I was like, well, that's dope. And you would have happy hours because they cut a deal with a winery. A relatively local winery. And and now what killed me
Crane
too,
Lake.
oh my God. And mind you, this wasn't necessarily the best booze on the planet, but it was good enough, right? So you could take a whole bottle with you back to your room. Like no one would give a shit, right?
It was like I don't know if it was unlimited wine or not, but it felt like it.
Mm-hmm.
Like as soon as dinner was over, the wine bottles would come out, and you could just drink wine all night. Because I'm a lot of a person, like I was usually the last person to go to sleep on the island.
Okay.
Every one of my residencies, which sometimes it's like 3 or 4 in the morning, and there's still wine.
Well, and I think now I've heard since then they don't have a deal with Crane Lake anymore.
Oh,
they don't offer, well, and Michael's not in charge anymore, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Some shit went down, and they just don't do that. But
I'm sure a whole bunch of shit went down because when you get that many strangers drunk for that long,
oh my God,
happens. I don't know if I would have survived 10 days without the unlimited wine.
I mean, it was funny. Every time I went, I had so much anxiety over not the feedback of my fellow attendees, but the feedback of the instructor, right? Because like I figured I would find the same biases I would find when I went to conferences or workshops or whatever. You've always got people, they expect you to write the way they write. And if you don't write the way they write, they'll tell you it's shit. and it's because they just don't understand what you're doing, right? Because they haven't bothered to actually learn anything about the craft of writing. And then you'd find people who were just like so hooked on weird little shit that it was like, okay,
Yeah.
And then but honestly, Teehee, I swear every time, like I still remember I had to sit down, like this wasn't so my first time, so I'm taking, voracious notes, right? And I'm making all the revisions that my my fellow attendees are giving me, and my, instructor is. Yeah, and people, I mean, this is just like work, right? Well, life. You've got people who they just decide they hate your guts, and you're like, I don't even know why you hate my gut. I didn't do anything to you, right? And then after time, you realize either you've done something they wish they did, or like there's something that you're bringing to the table that they're basically jealous of, and you have no idea, what's going on. And then you have people who, like, no matter what you write, they adore it, right? So it's like, it's just trying to your point, like, I think it's like navigating all that, right? Like figuring out, like, what am I going to listen to? What am I not going to listen to? And what am I going to, like, I'll write down, and I'll save it for later. And then I'll get back to it because maybe I just don't understand right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think one thing I did learn at Fairfield, because I was in creative writing workshops in undergrad, was that you don't have to take everyone's advice. Like, and
I love Michael White for that, because he set that stage from the beginning. Oh, and so everyone who's watching, Michael White was the founder and the executive director of the MFA program. And so he's basically the one who drove all of this. He came up with the concept, the whole 9 yards. And I'm just I'm quite thankful for everything that he did. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Mike White. Yeah, I think I had an interesting, my MFA origin story. So let me do this. Yeah, tell the story of how I ended up at Fairfield and then what I thought of the island. So I was kind of young, and like a lot of young writers, like pretty confident in myself. I was dead set that I was going to get accepted to the MFA program at the University of Texas in Austin. So much so that I moved to Austin the day I applied to the program.
Dang.
Like, I was like, I'm here, I'm getting in, I'm like manifesting this for myself, and I didn't get in.
Is that, I don't know, is that like a huge program?
I don't know if it even is still running now, but it was an endowed program. It's very selective, so I think they only take like 7 people a year or something like that.
My other one was NYU. I was so in love with NYU. That my two dream schools, University of Pennsylvania and NYU. And for me, it was like, I'm gonna get in, and then I'm gonna graduate, and they're gonna take me as I'm gonna become a professor there. And NYU, I mean, they actually gave me a phone interview, which, for anyone who doesn't know, that's huge. Like, just the fact they even talk to you.
Yeah.
Everyone and their mother wants to go to NYU's creative writing program, right?
Yeah.
But no, they didn't even. No.
I do remember this. So the UT Austin one, highly selective, and it's endowed, which means it's free if you get accepted, and you get paid. And you for the time, you got paid a pretty decent amount of money to live.
Cool.
So that's why I was like, I'm doing it. I did not get in, which was like a crazy gut punch, because now I'm like in a new city and I don't know people.
Yeah. Right? Oh my God, that's terrifying.
But they asked if they could send my submissions around to other schools. So then I got a full ride offer to the University of New Mexico, But they don't have an MFA program. They only had an MA program in English. And so I got offered a full ride and a job, so teaching and whatnot. I looked it up because it wasn't in Albuquerque. It was in their Las Vegas, New Mexico campus, which is pretty small. And I went to undergrad at Georgia Southern University, which is in the middle of nowhere in Georgia, in South Georgia. It's like 40 minutes into the swamp from Savannah.
Wow.
And I don't drive. And, you know, I'm sure rural South Georgia is even more terrifying now than it was back in the early 2000s. But it was still scary in the early 2000s.
I agree. And let's go there after this, because let's talk about where you can live where you feel safe. Because my husband and I, anyone who's watching and you don't know, my husband is African American, and every time we talk about like where can we live where we both feel safe, we've actually no, it will not be no, that will not be the place. So anyway, keep going. And then because I know you've had the same experience, like we've had this. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I get this full ride offer, but then I look up the town, and the town is even smaller than Statesboro, Georgia. Okay. And I was like, I just spent 4 years like in a rural environment, and I don't drive, and I'm not going to drive. I'm a terrible driver. So it's a benefit to the world that I'm not behind a vehicle. I was never good at it. I was constantly getting into accidents. I'm alive today because I don't drive.
Got it.
Yeah. So I was like, I can't live in another like really rural environment. And so the other offer I got was from Fairfield University. And they didn't give me a full ride scholarship, but they gave me a partial scholarship. And the fact that it was low residency was appealing because I also read like secluded island. It was like, no, like I need public transportation. I need
it's
like basic and like, how can I be a writer and live in a city at the same time?
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, with Fairfield, I could do that because I only am going twice out of the year. That's not too bad.
Yeah.
And they even waived the first residency fee for me. And so I was like, oh, great. So I show up. So I have a career in politics, political activism, and social change. And I was doing a lot of that stuff in Austin also. I was with the ISO, the International Socialist Organization. So I was like a card-carrying communist. Doing a whole bunch of shit. I remember I had this like afro. I was very radical. And I show up to the island. But right before that, because I had never been to New York City, I went to New York City to hang out with a friend of mine. And I was part of the Blizzard cohort, if you remember. So like every residency.
Oh my God.
Every residency, every residency, there's new people. There's like a new freshman class. So each cohort gets a nickname after a certain amount of time. Because I don't think your cohort had a nickname.
We were like this third or something like that. I think we were too soon to have a nickname. Yeah,
you had the first cohort, the second cohort, the third cohort, and then you had the blizzard cohort because this massive blizzard hit the island like a day before the residency started.
Which, because of Crane Lake, it wasn't all that fucking bad, right? Because
exactly. So I'm in New York. My friend who's in New York is like, this blizzard's hitting the Northeast. They're shutting down Amtrak. Drop what you're doing, throw all your clothes in your bag, and go into Manhattan and try to get the last train so you can make it. Because if the blizzard's bad enough, we don't know if you'll be able to make it.
Yeah.
So that's what I do. So I didn't have time to do laundry. So I showed up with maybe 2 days of clean clothes for a 10-day residency.
Yikes. Oh, I'm so sorry. That sucks, dude. I mean, they had many washers and dryers, but it's still not enough. Like,
but they didn't let us use them because I asked. And I was like, can I like use the laundry facilities? Because there's like staff that live on the island, and we will get into that too because that's hysterical.
Oh, that's another thing.
That is a whole other thing. But so I get there and I'm like, oh, can I use the laundry? Because like, there was a blizzard, and like I didn't have time to wash my clothes. And they're like, no, you can't. So thankfully my first residency, I didn't have a roommate. And I was like, oh, thank God, because like by day 10, I could smell the clothes that I was wearing.
Oh my.
And I was just like, oh no, like I was like, I'm making the worst first impression that like you could ever hope to make.
No one really gave a shit. Like, I mean, yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. The community of Fairfield is a very interesting one. There's like, the island is such its own world that like a lot of different, like a lot of rules don't apply in the same way for society than they do for the island.
No, that's 100. Like, it's really interesting. Like the second you are in, you're accepted, you are now suddenly part of the sub community of people who are so incredibly eclectic in terms of like their backgrounds and their personalities and everything, that by default you are accepted. Like, boom, like you could be I don't know, I don't know, you could be like the wackiest person on the planet and no one cares, which is, to me, that was incredibly appealing, right?
Yeah. And we had a lot of wackadoos.
We had a lot of wackadoos. Oh my gosh. And we had a lot of people who came in with a lot of your classic assumptions in terms of like what is publishing and what is creative writing and blah, 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 that you can find on the internet. And it was really interesting to get them in a room together. Like I honestly think I spent a good portion of my time during the workshops simply just sitting back and watching people like pew, 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 pew.
The other thing that I tell people too, when you're on an island that small with 50 people, so you're sharing meals with the faculty, like everyone is just all living together. It's so small and you're so cut off that like a conversation doesn't naturally end. Like you meet someone day one and you're having a conversation and you don't realize it, but that conversation will last for 10 days because you will always see that person and you will pick up where you left off. And like suddenly you're like explaining deep things about your life to someone that you never met before. And you know everything about their life.
I still remember we had a cohort that wasn't on Enders. I forget where it was, but I ended up with the only other Lisa in the program. And they, for some reason, they were like, okay, you have to actually read aloud the first page of whatever it is that you submitted for this, right? And I don't remember what happened, but someone was like, you need to write your memoir. And I was like, I don't want to write my memoir. It's shit. Like no one wants to, And so, but I finally gave in, right? And I read like the first 20 pages of a memoir. And the first line is, I died at the age of 9, not brain dead, because, that would have taken a few more minutes. So I barely finished the sentence. And by the way, that is true. And she went, wait a minute. Holy shit. This is real. And I was like, I'm like, yeah, it's a memoir. And she was like, oh my God, Lisa, like, how is that fucking possible? So then I had to go through like the biology of it. Like, well, this is what happens. Like when you actually physically, you can physically die, you can mentally die. And, some people die oftentimes, actually a lot of times, typically you die mentally before you die physically, and blah, blah, blah. Right. And I'm going through all that. And she's just like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm like, yeah, that's not why I told you this. It's because I have to read this in a couple hours. So, so don't be too freaked out. But yeah, I mean, and you're supposed to have a a major, and they were like, you have to have, now I had to have 2 majors. Like once I actually read the first, I don't know, page or two of a memoir, they were like, okay, now you have 2 majors. You have to have fiction and nonfiction. And I was like, ah, shit. Well, if it just means I get to graduate, I don't care. Sweet. Yay.
True.
Right?
I remember my first residency about like just the crazy people and like the different, how things are just different. So I'm not going to name names, but there was a professor who I had for both of my workshops. And then I ended up also, because when you're not on the island for those 6 months, you're working remotely directly with one professor, one mentor. So I had the same guy for both my workshops and who was going to be my mentor for the coming semester.
Okay.
And then he got fired.
Oh,
so I think I know. Yeah, you probably know who this is.
Yeah,
but he's European. And he's a nonfiction writer. And he wrote this like amazing book, I think in like the 90s or late 90s or something. People called it like.
Actually, I was a huge fan of him, and he was one of the reasons I actually joined. But anyway.
Yeah. He was also one of the draws for me because I had read some of his stuff before. And so it's a little nerve-wracking meeting people like that you know, but we hit it off amazingly.
How could you?
And
he was fabulous. Yeah. And by the way, I was never allowed to actually have him as a mentor, which never made sense to me, but keep going.
Yeah. So there's my first residency. It's one night. It's towards the beginning, actually. And it's like 2:00 in the morning. Everyone has gone to sleep but me and him, and we're drinking a bottle of wine. And it's the winter, so we're not outside. We're inside one of these buildings where there's statues of Jesus everywhere because it's a Catholic island. And he says to me, slurred speech and everything, but then it gets like kind of crisp. And he's like, you know, I wrote this book about my like really traumatic childhood that like changed the whole course of my life and gave me all of this and gave me all of that and gave me a whole career. And then I now get to do shit like teach in this program. And he was like, and so my question is like, that's why I'm here. He's like, my question to you, Teehee, is what fucked up things happened to you in your life that you are here with me right now at 2 a.m. getting drunk with me.
I love him. I love him. And by the way, just for people who are watching, he's actually since passed away. And we
I didn't know that.
Oh, okay. So yeah. So that just all that means is that we need to get together. Anyway, go.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was crazy. And like, yeah, as like a big name that I recognize from undergrad, and I was like, oh, I really want to learn with him. I got to have him for 2 workshops, and then he was going to be my mentor. And then he asked me that question. I just like cracked up laughing, and I was like, let's start, I guess, with like Iowa. Like I that was like this and from Iowa, and like here's why that's fucked up.
Dude, oh my god.
And like every night of the residency, it was always me and him. We were the last people. We picked up all the wine bottles and put them away and whatnot. But like, he was like, I went through some really fucked up shit. And I was like, I went through some really fucked up shit.
I mean, no offense, but like, it's the United States. No shit. Like, of course you did. Like, yeah. Anyway, keep going.
But, and then he got fired like a couple of days later. Which was wild. And for a little bit was a persona non grata, but he continued to email me and reach out to me, and he was always very encouraging of me. I did not know that he passed away.
Yeah.
That's wild crap. I'm gonna have to process that internally and probably drink some more. But yeah, I remember meeting you, Lisa, at the residency fairly early on. Your hair was shorter. And you said, you were like, just keep in mind that the residency is a marathon and not a sprint. because like I'm a very extroverted person
Mm.
and I love being around people, but like 10 days with no contact with the outside world, with and not just with any people, with writers who are good at drama and good at surfacing tension.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Like, and no. So not just good at they're good at creating drama.
Yes.
So I still remember you and I both sitting there like watching, like, oh my God, what are you talking about? That makes no sense. Holy shit. What is that? Oh my God. You know what? Crane Lake sounds good right now. Like we were both just like, oh my God, what are you people doing? But
because sometimes you can see the train wreck happening like days before it's going to happen.
Now, mind you, people, this isn't unique to writers. I mean, yes, there are just certain personality types that tend to have that need to create passionate situations. Let's just put it that way. So there was a bit of that. And just so you know, Teehee, so Diane Schneider says the island sounds like a perfect location for an amazing story. Oh my God, Diane. Like, I think we actually had to sign. I think we had to actually sign like not a non-compete, like a don't like
a non-disclosure, yeah.
A non-disclosure, yeah, because just in case. But so we're not, that's part of why we're not being very specific, but holy shit. Like that may also be why neither one of us has been invited back to like teach, because yeah.
So back when I moved to New York, I used to crash the island on New Year's Eve because like I didn't want to be in New York City on New Year's Eve because it's crazy. So I would get on the Amtrak and go up to Connecticut unannounced, not even tell anyone, and literally just crash. Because also New Year's Day, they don't do it anymore. They used to have a lobster bake.
Oh my God. So, it was amazing. I miss that so much. I miss the New Year's Eve party, and I miss the lobster bake so much. Oh my God, it was so fabulous.
The New Year's Eve parties, whether they were successful or not, they were parties, and that was an event to go to.
Oh, hell yeah. And by the way, anyone who's watching from Enders, just so you know there was supposed to be a Fairfield alumni meeting, get together yesterday. I did not feel well, so I ditched because I did not want to get anyone sick. So I apologize, but the next one, as long as I'm not sick, I am totally down. I would completely love to be there. So anyway,
in person?
Yeah.
And where
they realized there's a bunch of alumni out of the Los Angeles area.
Oh.
So they have it near the LA the Los Angeles Library.
Okay. So me and you tried to find Crane Lake in LA.
Oh hell we did. And we completely failed. We failed miserably. Just saying.
Woo. What is this? Oh man, it was on the tip of my tongue and I completely forgot it.
I'm sorry.
Other crazy things. Oh yeah. So also just an insane place that is totally real. It exists and you can go there. We have our writer's residency there, but this island is mostly used as like a drug alcohol rehab center for most of the calendar year. So also in my first residency.
Oh my God.
So my first residency, I go to the wrong room for a workshop. And so I'm in this room, there's a bunch of people, and I don't know anyone because it was like my first day. And someone who's just up in front of the room telling this really, really engaging story about like their drinking problem. And I thought it was a creative writing workshop class for a while. Until I realized that it was like Alcoholics Anonymous. And I was like, oh. And I wasn't alone. I was with a couple other students. We were like lost and we thought this. And then like she nudges me and she's like, this isn't the workshop. This is AA. And I was like, oh shit.
Holy shit. Holy shit. Oh my God. Wow.
So all of the staff on the island are in recovery.
Wow.
And they're also
like,
providing us with all this drama, which is a bad recipe and bad things happen.
Right?
Every residency, at least one staff person would relapse.
Yeah. Well,
and get back on the wagon. There was one year where like one staffer in the kitchen just started drinking with us in the evenings. And we were like, ooh, you're supposed to be sober, but I don't know if I should say anything. And then they lost their job. And
oh my.
yeah, that was awkward. It was awkward to be given unlimited wine by somebody who's in recovery, just watching you get wasted.
Yeah, that's kind of weird, right? That's kind of weird.
There's a lot of things about the island that were weird. I do think it was a great program, and I'm glad I went and I learned a bunch. I recommended the program to people who I knew could do it.
Yeah.
Like another author who's published with Running Wild, her memoir, Alicia Delory.
Yeah,
I knew her from undergrad.
Oh, okay.
And awesome person. She was asking about MFAs, and I was like, you should try Fairfield. You have the emotional fortitude to survive residency. I think you can do it. And there are other people who would ask me, and I'm like, I don't think you can do it.
Oh my God, I love you. I love you.
Can we also talk about the salad bar?
Oh my God. Yes. Although honestly, we can talk about this at like everywhere. Like the salad bar at every single conference, it actually got me through the end. Cause like I don't like fried food. I don't like really oily food. And so I would end up living off of the salad bar of wherever it was, to the point I would like find friends. Like I did this at everywhere. And I was just like, hey, I have a car. Let's go find someplace not to eat a salad bar. Because I was so fucking, it was like the only sustenance I got was from like the potato salad or the tuna salad or, you know, what have you. So anyway, keep going. Go.
Everybody has their own emotional arc with the salad bar. But so you're eating 3 meals a day on this island. Breakfast does not have a salad bar, but lunch is just the salad bar.
Yep.
And then dinner is an entree and the salad bar. So it's the same salad bar twice a day for 10 days in a row. Yep. And it does not change. It is the same different toppings, the same different kinds of dressings.
Yep.
So like that will drive anyone crazy.
Well, and it was like potato, like the sustenance, the parts that would make you full. It was like potato salad and like tuna salad and like this weird, you know, shit that it's like after like 3 days, you're like, I need real food. Like this is far, like it's beyond. And that's now actually, I must admit, I never went off the island while I was on Enders, but I did when I went like everywhere else. So they did something.
Mm-hmm. I went off the island once, me and Jenny Swan. And I can say her name because me and Jenny are good friends and have continued to be good friends ever since the program.
Yeah.
We decided to walk all the way to Mystic because you get 1 day off in the middle of these 10 days. And we walked all the way into Mystic. We went to Mystic Pizza.
The Julia Roberts movie. I've been to Mystic Pizza. Mm-hmm. It was the shit at the time. Like I was like, oh my God, I'm in love. Anyway, go.
And the pizza was not great, in my opinion.
I didn't say it was great, but compared to everything else that was available, It
Yep.
was like, oh my God, I'm in love. Please, I need more pizza. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So, because like, here was my salad journey, because I don't eat salads normally. So, like, at first it's a novelty, and you're like, ooh, it's a salad bar. And you're like, oh, it's twice a day salad bar. So, like, you kind of like you do your normal salad, but by like day 3, I'm trying to make a very complicated salad. Like, let me just do
See what I
everything.
can make.
Let's see what combinations I can make, and let's have fun with it. But and then by day 5, you never want to see salad again, except for you have 5 more days of a salad bar.
Yeah.
So inevitably, I would always end up with just cottage cheese, like and
No.
just live on eating the
I
cottage
could
cheese.
not
I
do
don't know
that.
why.
No.
It was the only thing. It was the only thing. I would go straight like, and then like you would have one salad where it's salad and cottage cheese, and then you come for dinner and you're like, fuck the lettuce. Like I always ended the residencies with like having just eaten cottage cheese for lunch and just that's it. And my body was young enough to process a lot of dairy. One of my classmates, who's really big on social media now, Kate. I remember our
Oh my
first
God, I love her.
residency.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were on like day 8 or 9, and we go into the dining room, and Kate sees the salad bar, and she's like balls her fists, and she's like, "Not one more damn salad." And completely fell apart. It was the most hilarious thing. The salad bar was a lot.
That's a lot. Yeah.
I do have like residual, I don't know if it's trauma or core memory, but like I will stop dead in my tracks when I see a salad bar. I'm like, and then so wait a second, without naming names, and hopefully without disparaging this program too much, because we actually did love the program.
I adore the program. Oh my God. Like, honestly, even though it terrified me when she was like, you will come here. Like, I went for a reason. Like, there were amazing instructors who were absolutely incredible. And I adored every single person who I was paired with. So yeah, no, I adored the program. I 100% recommend it. So go ahead.
Yeah. So what was the craziest night or like the craziest thing that you feel comfortable saying that happened on the island?
Oh my. Now, okay. Although I just said all that, and I admit that this will sound like it's like I've negated it, but I don't mean it that way. There's a lot of stuff I kind of blocked because it's like you realize, well, that has nothing to do with me. It has to do with the individual. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, and it takes a while because you end up, like if there's something I'm like, oh my God, I'll go around to other people who are in the conversation and ask them like, so what's your opinion of blah, blah, blah. Right. And so that I get a better understanding of the situation and like what happened and like all that kind of thing. And, gosh. I mean, the wildest thing I had was, I still remember I had asked, actually I kind of begged because I was a fan, and I still am, of Porchista Kakpor. And we knew each other on social media. And so when she became a professor at Fairfield, I thought, oh my God, she's going to find out I don't know shit. Like, I'm completely illegitimate. Like, I don't belong here, blah, blah, blah. Like, you name it, right? And that was, well, honestly, I was like that with every single session I went into, right? I was always terrified. And I remember going in, and if I remember correctly, I wasn't the last attendee. I was like in the middle, and I could tell she was putting off like workshopping my piece, and I was like, oh my god, that means it is complete shit. Holy fuck, I'm in so much trouble, right? And
that's like never the case.
And it's never the case, right? And so she opens up the session, and she was like, okay, so we're gonna do, at the time my last name was Coutant. That was my first husband's last name. And so she was like, okay, and by the way, I'm Kastner now, in case you're watching and you're like, who the fuck is Coutant? Anyway, so and Kastner is my maiden name. Anyway, so that's a whole nother, if we want to talk about like my husband accepting me, just not taking his last name, all that, whatever. Anyway, so she was like, so, I'll be honest, Lisa, I was terrified to workshop your piece because I've seen your commentary online, and I've heard your feedback and blah, blah, blah. And we've become really good friends online. And I was so afraid that you just didn't know your shit. Oh my God, Teehee. I just sat there and I was like, I can't breathe. I think I'm having a heart attack. Oh my God. Like, I was so freaking out, right? And she's like, but this is so goddamn good. And I was just like, oh my God, I'm not complete shit. This is amazing. And I'll be honest, I don't remember what she said after that, because I was in such not trauma, but I was just in such shock that she actually enjoyed what I had submitted, that I didn't know what to do. Now, what was hilarious is I don't think anyone else in the room knew what to do either, because like, she adored it. She didn't just love it, she adored it. And it was like, it's not, so I don't know how to explain this. If you've never been in a workshop situation and you have a workshop leader who's like, oh my God, this is great, blah, blah, blah. Oftentimes the other attendees in the room, they don't know what to do because they feel like they're going to negate, like they can't go against the workshop leader, right? Mm-hmm. But she gave justifications for all the reasons why she felt like my piece rocked, right? And for me, that was such a major trauma, because the whole reason I was even, now, just again, for people who are watching, to give you context, I've been in the writing and publishing industry for since the early 90s, something like that. So Teehee and I were there, I was there from 2009 to 2011, and Teehee was there starting 2011.
So 2013
to 2013. So again, I didn't know what I didn't know. So to hear I actually knew my shit was oh my God, I know my shit. Oh my God. Because you get so much feedback from people, some who know what they're talking about, a lot who have no idea, but they don't know they don't, right? Because they haven't actually studied the craft of writing.
Yeah.
Which we could have a whole nother thing on that, right? They haven't actually they haven't dissected their favorite authors. They haven't dissected, to understand, the craft. They haven't they haven't done all these things. So for me, that was actually major trauma because I'll be honest, like I was like, well, I don't know if I want an MFA. I already have an MBA. Like, why should I get an MFA? Like I think I'm pretty solid in terms of, craft. But then, and it was only when my the corporation I worked for at the time, when they came back and said, we'll pay for whatever you want. That's when I was, as long as it's certified, as long as it's accredited, that's when I went, oh, okay. Well, then that makes sense to me, right? But oh my God, that for me was the most traumatic because it was like, holy shit, I actually know what I'm doing. And I don't mean that traumatic in a bad way. I mean traumatic in a good way, right? Like, like all the work I've done in the last 15 years, right? Like all the studying I've done, all the programs I've gone to, all the people I've reached out to. I mean, everyone that I've reached out to and said, I need to understand X, Y, and Z. Can you help me? Right? And they were generous enough to do that. I was like, wow, you mean it worked? Like I actually learned, which sounds stupid, right? But when you're in an industry that's creative based, oftentimes, again, you don't know what you don't know.
And
right?
it's just as important to know what you're doing well as it is to know what you're not doing well, which is something that I also have learned from like the workshop experience, that like, because you could be totally crushing it in a certain aspect of the craft of writing, but if you don't get that feedback, you don't know that you're doing that. You're just like, like is one of the things I love about workshops is that it is about like what is working really well, what is unclear, and what is the suggestions for revision. Because we have to know, you need to be told that you're doing something well. In other areas of life that might not be true, like maybe you don't need to be told that you're good at like Legos or something like that. But there's something about writing where like you do need to know when you're doing it.
Well, not just writing. I mean, anything, in my opinion, anything in the creative space, because
it's
constantly evolving, it's constantly changing. And like, I mean, I even remember in my undergraduate, I had a class that was about, it was supposed to be about video. And so I did just like a snip. Now it was now what was assigned was a snippet of, do a snippet with movement that has sound against it. So that's what I did. But it turned out like everyone else in the class was actually their their degree was in film. And so they nailed the shit out of me. And the instructor was like, well, I mean, it's hilarious what you did, but yes, it has no narrative. And so I got like a D in it. So I got out of the class. I was like, look, that's not what you assigned. I gave you what you assigned. So fuck you. Like, I'm out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But anything in the creative arts, that's how it is. Right.
Yeah.
Like, they'll say one thing and then you have to understand what they really mean. And that a lot of times it's like, dude, I can't do this. I'm out, Yeah.
I like and appreciate how you said it was traumatic in a good way, like the positive kind of trauma. I do think that the Fairfield program was traumatic in a good way for me. Like, I learned a whole lot, and I went into it thinking I already knew a lot, and then learned a whole bunch. I will say, okay, not the craziest story, but the craziest story I will say over the internet, because a lot of crazy things happened on that island. So we had guest speakers who would come every residency, which is also funny because like by day 3 or 4, we've kind of coalesced as a community. And like, it's a little like Lord of the Rings. Like we've made our own society now, and then we have an outside person coming in. And it can be hilarious because they look around and they're freaked out by Jesus everywhere. They're
Right?
like, everyone's drunk. Like all these writers are living together on this small place, and like I can't escape people. So like that's all like wild to see. But when we had like a speaker come to like read like a poet or a novelist or whatever, we would pre-assign before the residency a student to introduce them. And our students were really good public speakers. We had like, I've done a lot of public speaking training, and I was blown away throughout my time at Fairfield of like, God damn, we're just really good public speakers. And if there was a course in how to introduce people, I didn't take that course, but everyone else seems to have taken that course. And they're like crushing it. It's like I never introduced anyone. And I've never seen better introductions. It's such a weird thing to say. I've never seen better introductions than Fairfield.
Yeah. I get that.
We would get some pretty big name. We get some pretty big name people. Some people were really good public speakers or public readers, and some people are really not, who are like really, really well known. So there was one woman, I can't remember her name, so I'm not going to say it, but she is kind of well known. And the thing that I thought was hilarious was after she gave her reading, when I would ask anyone at dinner or at like the informal parties afterwards what they thought of her reading, they didn't want to say anything bad, but they would end up talking about the stained glass window behind her because there was all a collective point where no one was listening to her anymore.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my gosh, this is fantastic. So then we get this big name poet guy who's also from Europe. I'm not sure if you were here for this, Lisa. This was insane. So there's this like really emotional intro. He was so important. He had two introductions, a student and a faculty, and they're both like really, really glowing. But one of them was like very, very personal, where I was like, like, was there
a relationship going on? Yeah.
This feedback is really intimate. Like, this is a really intimate introduction. And so, like, and I'm like, am I the only one hearing it? Because also, when these speakers come to do a reading, they're doing it in a church, right? So you're sitting in the pews, and and I'm like, did I hear that, or did I imagine that? Like, and you look around, and you're like, no one's reacting the same way that I'm reacting.
Wow.
And so I'm like, okay, maybe. I was like, I'll ask people later. So he gets through all of his introductions, and he starts reading, and he mumbles, and he has an accent, and it becomes quickly apparent that no one can understand what he's saying. And he was soft spoken. So he's doing this long read. It's like 10 minutes, right? And I pick up the car underneath. Like, those are the only words that I can pick up after like 10 minutes.
I see. Wow. Oh
like, God. I just cannot. So again, I'm like looking around the church, like, is this just me? But I'm catching so many people's eyes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, thank God, it's not just me.
Wow.
No one can understand what he's saying, like, except for some errant word somewhere. But it's not enough for you to follow what, and it's poetry, which is hard to follow sometimes in the spoken form. But like, just completely. No one knows what the fuck this man is saying. And we're all just like grinning and buried, and it's stone cold silent. And the guy sitting next to me, who was my roommate throughout, not the first residency, but eventually became my roommate. Love that man to death. We always, Adam, we kept requesting to be roommates together because we were just really good. Love Adam. Amazing guy. 10 out of 10.
Love it. Yo.
He's right next to me, so he's darting eyes, and we can read each other's faces really well. And he's like, I can't fucking understand this guy, and this is like really hard. And like, Adam had been talking all day about how excited he was that this guy was coming.
Oh my.
And then he shows up and he's unintelligible.
Yeah.
And then he finishes reading, and somehow in perfect, crisp English, he asks us, does anyone have any questions? The church is silent. Like you can't hear the void. The void is silent. Everyone is like so terrified. Like what question could you ask? Because there is no questions to ask because no one understood what you said the whole time. Like, and Adam, who has ADHD or is a little fidgety, he's playing around with an empty bottle of Crane Lake wine. He dropped it. Bang! It clangs like a bell all throughout. It's the loudest I've ever heard a bottle of wine fall to the floor. Like, everyone looks over at the noise, right? And I'm sitting right next to him. So like we're both in it together where I'm like, people don't know if it was him or if it was me. Like I'm a big personality. And so like definitely some people on the island didn't like me. I'm fine with that. But I was like, oh crap, I'm going to get blamed. Like people are going to blame me. I didn't do it, but I can't throw Adam under the bus either. Thankfully at dinner, he just totally knows it. And he's I dropped it. It was really embarrassing.
Oh, I love him for doing that.
No one understood this man. And I think he was like a poet laureate or something. He's a very famous poet.
Yeah. Totally. I know who you're talking about.
Unintelligible. Like the longest 10 minutes of my life.
Well, with that, I hate to say this, but we're over. And first of all, I fucking adore all of our Storytellers happy hour. And I just want to say thank you for your candidness. Thank you for the time that we just focused on Enders. Anyone who is interested in getting a creative writing MFA, go to Fairfield University. It is more than worth it. Adore Enders. And with that, we will see you next time on our next Storytellers happy hour.
Yep.
All right. Cool. All right. Love you guys. We will talk